Never Abandon Imagination is not only the title of Caldecott Award-winning children's author and illustrator Tony DiTerlizzi's current exhibition at the Norman Rockwell Museum, it's also his personal mission statement. Storytelling has been his passion since childhood, and the Amherst-based artist believes firmly that one image is worth 1,000 words. He's created those images for fantasy icons such as Dungeons & Dragons, Lucasfilm, and Magic the Gathering, as well as for his own creations, like his Wandla trilogy and the best-selling Spiderwick Chronicles in collaboration with author Holly Black. Connecting Point producer Anthony Dunne cracks open the book of Tony DiTerlizzi's personal story and finds creativity and imagination on every page.
The earliest memories that I have are my mom reading The House at Pooh Corner and being curled up next to her in bed and looking at the little pen drawings by Ernest Shepard. And then as time goes on, I think of this enormous coffee table book, what seemed enormous to me as a kid, that my parents had purchased of all of Norman Rockwell's Saturday Evening Post covers. And we'd look at these illustrations, and of course every illustration was a story. And I loved the idea that a drawing could also tell a story. My mom tells me that when I was young and I would draw at the kitchen table or in my bedroom, I would make a lot of sound effects. It's because there was a story unspooling in my brain. When I was a teenager, a senior in high school, I'm like, I want to create children's books, which is so much easier said than done. I had taken every single art course you could take in high school, and my high school art teacher, Mr. Wetzel, he's like, I want you to do one assignment for the entire semester. So I went home, and my younger brother was reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. And I came back Monday and said, I want to do like a Tony D version of Alice in Wonderland. So off I went, and I did, like, you know, it was the 80s. Elton John had a huge comeback with I'm Still Standing. And so I made the Mad Hatter very Elton John, and I used a highlighter so that when you looked at the book under a black light, the book would glow. So then this kid in class goes, hey, I heard you did some version of Alice in Wonderland. And this like person that would never talk to me, I'm like, and can I see it? Hand him the book. Then I hand him the black light. And you know, next thing you know, there's a crowd looking at this thing. And I got this incredible validation at such a critical juncture in my life. I felt if I could do it in that brutal world of high school, where who you are and what you look like and what you do is so important, then I got this, I can do this. I think the preconception is that you know, creating a children's book is easy. Everyone has an idea for a children's book. Okay, how hard can it be? There's 300 words in this thing total. It should be a piece of cake. And the truth is, it's so incredibly difficult. Think of something like the Beatles and like your favorite Beatles song. Think of a song like Yesterday. So simple. Oh, I could write a song like that. No, you can't. No, you can't. That's what made the Beatles the Beatles. It's not just the combination of the lyrics and the melodies. It's how they sang it, it's how they harmonized it, it's what they chose to use, it's what instruments they chose not to use. And making a book in many ways is very similar. I don't want to create a 32-page greeting card. I want to create a 32-page story that resonates, not just with the child, but maybe with even the adult that's reading the book with the child. Before I had a kid, I thought I knew what a good kid's book was. When I'm creating anything, pictures, stories, books, etc., I'm always measuring it against the 10-year-old version of me or the 12-year-old version of me. What can old middle-aged Tony make that would impress 10-year-old Tony? He would like that. And obviously, when you look around the studio, I've kept artifacts from my childhood to keep me in touch with those moments in my life so I can return back to them much easier. When Sophia was born, I realized how much I'd forgotten in being a kid. That what I had held on to and the things that were important to me were just fragments of childhood, but the day-to-day life of being a child in some ways hadn't changed from me growing up in the 70s. I never try to tell any kind of lesson, but I like to ask questions. Those are the books that I always liked, actually. Those are the TV shows and stories that I always liked. The ones that asked really big questions and maybe offered some solution, but not all. Those Twilight Zones are great examples because they offer a sliver of a what-if scenario. One of my favorites was they're in an airplane and they hit a thing where they go really, really fast. And when they go to land at LaGuardia, LaGuardia is no longer there. There's dinosaurs walking around on Manhattan. The episode ends with them constantly trying to find their time again. It isn't, oh, and then they landed and everything was fine. No, they were stuck in the Twilight Zone. That's the stuff that asks questions, and then you can play out, well, what would I do? You go through a lot of emotions when you're telling these stories, and then you set it out like a little paper boat on the waves, and you hope it doesn't sink. Sometimes they sink, and sometimes they go and do amazing things, and you can't predict it. That's kind of the fun. The things that I thought were going to bomb, like The Spider and the Fly, a poem where the spider eats the fly, and we're like, let's do it black and white, like a Chaz Adams cartoon. We thought no one is going to buy this, and it becomes my first bestseller and wins the Caldecott honor. It was not planned. We weren't like, this is it, this is the one. No, not at all. So you can't predict it. For me, I just do the best job I can, put as much love and honesty in the character and the stories that I'm telling, and hope for the best. When I hear that millions and millions of kids love my books and stories, and that a place like the Norman Rockwell Museum is going to hang a retrospective of my work, and I'm not even 50 years old. Yeah, we're way past the I wish one day or I dream one day, and so that's exciting. I feel like it's encouraged me and inspired me to explore even more what I can do with storytelling.